My daughter is refusing to talk to me after I found out she has a boyfriend and has been drinking. Daughter's perspective. For as long as I can remember, my parents have had unrealistic expectations from me. This is what pushed me to try to do well in school, and always try to please my parents. I always did my best to get the highest scores in tests, and even joined a club through which I got a job offer in high school. But once my brothers left the house, my parents began treating me like a live-in maid. I would get home tired, and yet I was supposed to do the dishes for the entire house before resting. If it was a weekend or a holiday, I was supposed to clean the house spotless. Notice how I said I was supposed to? That's because they acted like this was why they gave birth to me. I felt like I was born to do chores for them. Over time, this routine took a mental toll on me and nearly affected my grades. I tried telling them that this isn't fair. That just because my brothers are now independent, I shouldn't be expected to take care of the house by myself. My dad shut me down by saying, "Your mother is disabled, so you need to help out as much as you can. And don't forget that you were born when we were past our prime, so we sacrificed a lot to raise you. You need to be more understanding and grateful." For the record, my mother is not disabled. She has a condition that makes her bones weaker than normal, but in no way does it limit her movement around the house. In fact, whenever there's a party, she is the first one on the dance floor and the last one to leave. Also, even if what my dad said was true, why couldn't he help me out himself? He wasn't working since my brothers were sending him money, so he had plenty of time. But no, they sat watching TV as I was ordered to keep doing what I'm supposed to do. Now, I put up with this because I was eventually going to move out and this would be how they'd remember me, the good daughter that never said no. But then one day I overheard my dad talking on the phone. He was describing what kind of future he wants me to have. I mean, she's going to go to college but then she'll have to settle down. I'm going to find a husband for her by the time she's 24 and have her live in our house. After hearing that, I realized that staying in this house any longer than I had to was going to destroy my life. I wasn't going to let my dad decide my future for me, so I chose a college that was too far for me to travel daily. Unfortunately, there was another incident that told me I needed to get out as soon as possible. A little after I turned 18, I was invited to my best friend's birthday party. I really wanted to go since it was her 18th birthday, and she had been there for my 18th. My parents knew about this, and assured me that I could go. But then, literally on the day of the party, as I was getting ready to leave, my dad tells me that I need to take my mother to a doctor's appointment. I was understandably confused, because they knew today was the day of the party, so why would they schedule the appointment at the same time? I told him that there's no way I'm going to the doctor's right now. And then he said some crap about my mother being my first priority. I mean, of course she is, but that doesn't mean that I have to abandon my plans every time she needs something. However, my father didn't want to listen to me and basically made it so that I couldn't leave the house at all unless I took my mother with me. Now, while I did as he asked, I was secretly starting to plan my escape. In the back of my mind, I knew that I was going to leave them in a way that they'd think I abandoned them. But I just couldn't take their abuse of power anymore. That weekend, I went over to my best friend's house to apologize for not showing up at the party, and told her I'd make up for it once I was free, and we would have a girls' night out. We hung out as more of our friends showed up, and she offered me a drink from the party. However, I refused as I wasn't old enough to drink, and didn't want to anger my parents. My brothers had been allowed to drink since they were 17, but I was told to wait till 21, and I didn't have a problem with it. I thought my dad would be proud of me, but as soon as he saw that my friend had posted pictures with alcohol in them, he completely blew up on me. He accused me of being a rebellious girl and didn't even give me a chance to explain. So in my spite, I said that if it's going to happen in college, might as well do it now. What's the difference anyway? It was only an example that I made while trying to point out his hypocrisy. But then he did something I would have never imagined. He said that I wasn't allowed to go to college anymore and tore my acceptance/scholarship letter in front of my eyes. I hadn't made any copies, so I was really angry but also very sad that my own father would do such a thing. I just fell to my knees while crying, trying to pick up the torn pieces. I think my dad said something about me having a boyfriend, but I was too busy crying to pay attention. Once he left, I immediately packed my bags. I couldn't stay in this house anymore or I would lose my mind. I went to a friend's house and contacted the college administration to try and explain the situation. Thankfully, they were very understanding. I've been staying here for over a month now, and have no plans on returning ever again until they apologize for everything.